So if you guys watched my previous video, you guys know I finally did it. I finally beat Chase 524. Huh. Really appreciate it. Wasn't scary at all. Huh. I wonder what that could be. That's shaped like something I'm familiar with, but I can't quite put my finger on it. What could possibly be in this suspicious package? Well, I do know one thing for sure. If I am going to unpackage this and actually see what's inside, I'm going to need a little bit of backup. Mr. Venture, can you come here for one moment? Please. No, I understand you're trying to mac on some girls over there. Just come on. All right, come meet the people, right? Hey. Mr. Venture has its own Pop Funk or Funko Pop, whatever you call these things. To be honest, I really don't see the resemblance here. None whatsoever. Oh, damn. The hair comes off. But seriously, in this video, I want to talk about 4 things. I want to actually unbox this and show you this card because it's way nicer than I actually thought it was. Reason why I actually got this card. And then number 2, one thing I didn't realize, which was setting up a business account with Chase to actually get this added onto your personal account. Because I quite literally spent the better part of a full hour before even getting into this card trying to figure out how to actually set up a business account to even see this on the online portal at all. Because for those of you who do not have any Chase business cards, it is way harder than you could ever possibly imagine. And then once you actually set up the business card, after the fact, you have to figure out how to put it into your online portal for the personal and the business side. Because no, it's not that easy. Once you sign in, it doesn't just automatically assign it to your Chase app. You actually have to link the accounts, which again added some toil. And then lastly, some data points on some other people who actually also beat 524 and were approved over 524. And then some data points for some people who weren't able to beat it since my last video, and some tips for people who still are on the fence of applying for this card, and a couple mistakes that people make that actually pretty much denies them their application before Chase even looks at your 524 status in the first place. So first and foremost, of course, we're going to cover all the nicety things, alright? We upgraded our setup a little bit here, but quite honestly, I thought this card was way more sleek and interesting than I ever would have expected. Of course, it's not metal. It's a $0 annual fee card, but at least it had a little bit of a sheen on it that I thought just looked very, very sleek, and actually for a second was like, is that metal? It kind of looks metal until I, felt it, obviously. The numbers, unfortunately, are embossed, so if you do have like an extra wallet and stuff, you're not going to be able to hold as many cards as you would like, but that is embossed on the front. And then, of course, on the back in standard form, you can't see it, but you basically can see the numbers but reversed on the back. So that's pretty much the Business Unlimited card. It's a very nice card, and of course came with a bunch of other packaging and whatnot that really... are we really going to go through that? I mean, we know what's in there, right? But now, here is where the toil comes in with this card, right? The toil is as follows. Basically, when you get this card and you activate it, you can activate it what seems to be a few different ways. What I did was I just called the number on the back, put in a couple numbers, put in my actual phone number, and they said, oh, you are now verified for this new card that you just received. Okay, cool, great, grand. It's verified. You now can use the card, but you can't see your card anywhere. You can't pay for your card anywhere. I have no idea. It's just out in the ether somewhere. Which led me to ask someone who recently got their own Chase business card, that being Matt Clausen. So go check out his channel. He has some really great information out there, and he pretty much helped me do this whole process that I'm telling you guys right now, because like I said, surprisingly, it wasn't easy whatsoever. So first and foremost, you have to set up a business account. And the way that I did that, and I would say probably the easiest way, so when you're on Chase for Business, there's a place that says sign in, and then right below will say sign up, to which if you hit that, you're now going to put in your social, make sure it's for business, you're going to be putting in your card number, and then go through the few steps there, and then it should be easy enough for you, but for me, it wasn't easy. I did it on mobile, I do everything on mobile, and it kind of broke when I got to that last step. So then when I actually went to reapply and recreate an account, put the same number, and they said, you already have an account that exists. Meanwhile, I never set up a username, never set up a password. What am I supposed to do? So if that happens to you when you have that toil like I did, go back into there, go back into Chase for Business, go to hit sign in again, and then there's a spot that says forgot username and then also forgot password. So hit one of them. It's going to ask you for phone number. It's going to ask you for the number of the card. Then once you actually go through those prompts, then it'll send you a text message, verification code, and then that will actually allow you to get onto the screen to where now you can actually create the username and the password. And yes, you quite literally are creating an entirely new Chase account for this business, but don't worry, we're going to be able to merge the two in just a few minutes. So choose a username, choose a password. Okay, cool, good, great, grand. Now you have that fully set up, and now you can actually log in to your Chase business account. So now, once you actually go through that process and you set everything up correctly, then it should reroute you to the actual homepage, to which now your card should have showed up on your online portal. And this will actually work through just the normal Chase app that you've been using for all your personal cards. Just put the login information you did for Chase for Business and it'll log you in right through the app. Now, I would recommend actually doing that and actually logging on through the app. That's actually the easiest way and the way that didn't break for me to be able to actually merge the two accounts, the personal and the business. Because when I actually did it outside of the app and I just logged in via like a desktop version of Safari, still on my mobile phone, when I went to actually go to merge the accounts, it gave me a blank screen. So that was essentially, as some people would say, SOL. You know, I still don't know what it means, but I think that would be SOL. Obviously, I know what it is now. You guys educated me on that credit Reddit. Okay, cool. So now that you followed that recommendation and you're now logged into your Chase for Business on your normal Chase app on your phone, or of course, if you're using desktop, I believe you're going to hit the top right just to try to get to your account, the entire layout of your account. So once you sign into your Chase Business Only account, then you're going to go over to your account tab. You're going to hit Profile and Settings. Then you're going to go into Account Settings. Then you'll be able to see a thing right here that says Manage Linked Accounts. Once you click that, it's going to ask you for your phone number or email verification. You're going to get the code. You put the code in. And here is also where I got that frozen screen in the past. So if it messes up, go back out of it and then go back into it. But once you put that identification code in, you should now have the full layout of all of your personal accounts and all of your business accounts, to which right in the middle there, it should say for all your personal accounts to merge the accounts and to have them show up all on one section. And after you hit that, you're pretty much done and you've now been able to add both accounts to the same field, but you're not fully done yet. The next thing you have to know, unless I'm wrong, but when I actually went to log in via my old account, like my personal login that I've been using for years, it still was the same personal login. I still only had my personal stuff. I never saw the business card show up whatsoever. But then what I realized is once I used the new username and password to actually log into Chase for Business, at the top of the tab, you could actually switch in between personal and business. So I think just from now on, we're pretty much only signing in for Chase for Business and we'll be able to see everything completely in just the one app, which is so much easier. And God, so much pain of that 1 hour trying to figure out how to actually do that. My God. Again, shout out to Matt Clausen because he sent me this guide here that I'm going to link in the description below that actually allowed me to do this pretty much seamlessly. So hopefully that helped you guys out if my explanation wasn't understandable enough. And no, just because I had this question, maybe you guys do, you do not have to set up a business checking or savings account with Chase whatsoever to actually set up this account. You quite literally just need the card number and your phone. The only thing that you would need is to just verify that it's you, and then you can create that account. Okay, so cool. So very happy now you'll be able to see the card. You'll be able to set up the Chase business account, and you'll be able to link the personal and the business accounts. Cool, that's out of the way. So now let's talk about data points, right? So since I released that video, and from what I could actually see and people actually messaged and comment, to me it actually seemed like about 6 or 7 people actually signed up through my link.
Right, so I got my boy Anthony's page pulled up right here. Gonna be using his referral to help him out, so.
And applied for the Chase Inc. Unlimited because, well, it's got a 90K offer right now. That's the main reason I got the card and why a lot of people want it, because it's basically an historic high offer, I think, of 90,000 Chase Ultimate Reward points. Because like I mentioned, I'm going to be using this for Hyatt stays and Hyatt hotels for the future, and I estimated that this one card alone, once I hit the welcome offer, will give you enough value to equate to about $2,700 worth of Hyatt hotel value, aka, you know, travel value in the future. But on top of that, the main message was, well, I beat 524. I did it at 724 and was approved for this said credit card. So out of those 7 people, it looks like about 2 or 3 people were actually approved. Kudos to you guys who used the link and actually did sign up. Hell yeah. However, there were about 4 different people that I could see that did not beat Chase 524, and for that, we have to pour one out for you guys. Now, going into it, of course, I let everyone know, like, it's not guaranteed. That's what happened to me. Maybe it'll happen to you based on a few things like, oh, maybe it's a little more lenient in the month of December, more card acquisitions, holiday spend, plus, of course, just high welcome offers and special offers like this. Usually they are a little bit more lenient about being above 524 and actually getting approved. But for those of you who did not beat 524 and were instantly denied like I was 8 months prior, I advise to pretty much just call the reconsideration line. And basically all the general advice out there on people who were able to still overturn that decision, most people were calling 3 to 4 times. And at that 4th time, that 3rd time, they were able to overturn their decision. Basically the hookah method, right? The hang up and call again. And also while doing a little bit of research, I found a bunch of guides, albeit a little bit old, but seem to still be working up to date just by looking at all the comments and people that actually followed this guide. But basically, just this goes through the entire process of, why you're going to get the cards, how you're going to apply for them, etc., etc. But the most important part of this entire thing right here is one of the things I want to actually talk about, which is what do I put on the application? Now, they say a bunch of things like what businesses actually would be considered for a Chase Ink card. But the one thing I want to stress to you guys is to really make sure that you're actually choosing the right categories for your business. I know in the past, some people have put the wrong type of business for their company. Like maybe the only way to actually get approved if you have a YouTube channel is to consider it media, and anything else would actually be auto denied. And I like what it says here about the benchmarks of 2K revenue and 2 years in business. Now, of course, projected monthly spend as well should be a little bit higher than. Now, I would say this is a little bit outdated. Nowadays, for the most part, a lot of people are putting 5K in revenue and 1K at least in monthly spend or more, just depending on your business itself. But of course, it could be more, it could be less, whatever you want to put on the application. But how can Chase necessarily hold it against you if you don't meet that mark? Of course, this is all projected. But one of the main things I wanted to bring up about showing you all this right here, which was reconsideration. So you can see right here, it says, do not call reconsideration right away. A lot of people actually advocate for you to wait until you definitely have a denial, which usually takes a couple of days, to a week. But there's one thing that I found interesting here, which was people who actually had to call the reconsideration line. There is a whole flow chart of every single scenario you could possibly be in when you're actually applying for Chase Ink cards. And amongst all of this, one of the more interesting things that I like to actually look at, which was looking at this side of the flow chart, which is, okay, cool, are you good at BSing or talking on the fly? If the answer is no, drink some wine or beer. But if the answer is yes, they're going to ask you all of these different questions. So it's not just like a normal reconsideration line you would see on a personal application. It's a little bit more intensive. So you want to be ready with all these questions and these answers for when the rep actually brings it to you. And if you are able to fully get the answers through and convince the Chase rep, you can either be approved, or it mentions right here the hookah method, the hang up and call again until you have a different rep, to which you'll have to go through all the prompts again, do all the questions again and answers, and then it could be up to their discretion, the new rep, on whether or not they're going to approve you. So don't just go into it all willy-nilly, not knowing what you're going to possibly talk about, right? So let's get prepared. And if you are going to apply, or even if you did apply a few days ago, use this method right here. Look at all these questions and be ready to answer any of them that comes up. Now, another thing I found interesting was right here was another Reddit thread, and there's many more of these, but this is the one I decided to pick, which was how many times did you actually call the Chase reps, the reconsideration line, before they actually approved them. And this guy mentioned it was 3 calls. This guy mentioned it was 5 calls and he was approved, got overturned because of 524. This guy talked about calling 6 or 8 times over a 3-week period. It was eventually successful because remember, guys, you have up to 30 days to change their mind. And another thing, and the more reps, the more volume you have, because of course you have 30 days to overturn that decision before there's nothing you could do about it. So people are just calling over and over and over, and eventually, hopefully, they're overturning that decision and getting approved for that Chase Ink Unlimited. And of course, this applies to any of the Chase Ink cards that are out there as well. So if you want the Preferred, the Unlimited, the Premier, any of the Chase Ink cards, but I like the Unlimited because I wanted a card that had 1.5% cash back, but more importantly, no annual fee and a 90K welcome offer for $6,000 worth of spend. So of course, it's apply at your own risk. You're essentially just trying your luck to see if it is possible to get one more card in before the end of the year. And as the days go on and more people call reconsideration line, if there are any other people that are able to overturn that decision, I'll make a community post or even just a video on it and just saying like, hey, this is working for these people. This could possibly work for you too. So who knows what's going to happen, but at least I'll put that out there for you guys. Which again, if you want to try your luck like those few people that actually were able to beat 524, the link is always in the pinned comment for the same offer that I got on the Chase Ink Unlimited. So if you want to, go right ahead. But of course, just a quick update, just getting this card. And of course, let me know your experience if you actually do apply and are approved above 524. And if you're not, how many times you had to call a recon to actually get that overturned, or if you called a million times and it never got overturned, which unfortunately I would be really upset for you if that happened. But in the meantime, if you want to see the initial application and how I actually got approved over 524 and all my data points, you can check out this video here. And of course, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you.